Hey guys, welcome to the Mid-Year Freakout Tag. This is a tag that I enjoy doing each year, and I'm usually pretty anal with making sure that I do it at the end of June because so many people post it at the beginning of June and I'm like, that's not the middle of the year. I'm a little anal, but this year I'm jumping on the train doing it at the beginning of June because I feel like my year is really split between the first 5 months and the last 7 this year, so it makes sense to me to do it now. So I actually have no idea who originally created this tag. If I can find out, I'll leave it linked below. I will also leave the questions below in case you want to do it as well, or you want to just tell me your answers in the comments. In addition, when I was originally going to do it, I thought there was another question about goals, and there isn't, so I'm adding my own question at the end because I can. So there are 13 questions, plus I'm adding one in there. The first question is, what is the best book that you've read so far this year? And I have had a number of great books. I've given a lot of books 5 stars. I enjoy reading, but the one that I enjoyed the most, and a lot of times, you know, it is the book, but a lot of times it's also just the environment. I really like to sit and physically read a book, and I read this one when I was sick, so I like devoured it really quickly. And I'm gonna say Mortal Queens by Victoria McCombs. This is I don't know if it's a YA or adult clean fantasy series. Whatever it is, I really enjoyed it. This one is about a girl who is from the center island. I think there's 5 islands, and every year a girl from the center island gets chosen to be the next Fae Queen, and our main character gets chosen, and it turns out it's not quite what she expected. So I'll say this is my favorite, although there were probably a lot of books that could be in this spot. I will be doing a video later this month with my favorite books of the year, so there will be more on there. Question number 2 is best sequel you've read so far this year. And I was looking back at my Goodreads, and I've actually only read 3 sequels, and they've all been excellent, so I'm gonna say all 3. Number 1, the most recent one that I read is Hybrid by Candice Cade. This is book 2. It might actually be the Hybrid series. Book 1 was Enhanced. I just barely talked about it in my May wrap-up. It's a YA science fiction series. Then I also read Drake Hall, which is book 2 in the Secrets of Ormdale series. This is like a cozy gothic fantasy series where all the books are novellas. So they're quick reads, really fun. I've enjoyed that. And then in a different vein yet, we've got A Poem for Mrs. Polifax. I have just loved all of these books. This is a 60-something-year-old woman who wants to join the CIA, and she does, and she goes on all these adventures. These were written in the 70s, and so it feels like that a bit, but it's a lot of fun. Mrs. Polifax, she's not like she does stumble across some clues, but she has brains and wit. She's not just bumbling along everywhere, and I really enjoy her. New releases you haven't read yet but want to. So I put 3 down. Night Falls on Predicament Avenue. That is the latest Jamie Jo Wright that came out in April. I haven't read that one yet. Definitely want to. The Elusive Truth of Lily Temple by Joanna Davidson Politano. She normally writes in the Victorian era, but I feel like, if I remember correctly, that one was in the Edwardian period. And then A Lady's Guide to Marvels and Misadventure by Angela Bell. I've heard really good things about this. It sounds like something I'd really enjoy. It was on my anticipated releases video for, I can't remember if it came out in Q1 or Q2, and I haven't read it yet. I have more anticipated releases. I am doing videos every quarter this year, so I have my Q1 video out and my Q2, and I will be sharing my Q3 soon, which leads into question 4, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Well, Mortal Queens, that came out earlier this year, and the second book is coming out in November. It's called Lethal Kings, so I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Jamie Jo Wright has yet another book coming out this year, Spectres in the Glass House. She's been doing 2 books a year for the last number of years. It's hard to keep up, but I'm enjoying them. And then, okay, there's 2 more. I'm going to do you know, a Q3 video and a Q4 video. So I tried not to add all of them onto here, but apparently I couldn't stop at just 3. I had to add 4. Not that it says 3, but I feel like I was answering 3 for everything else. We've got The Immortal Abyss by Catherine Briggs. I read The Eternity Gate last year. Really enjoyed it. That is a fantasy series. And then in the fall, Richard Osman is taking a break from the Thursday Murder Club. I'll give him that. He can do that. I'll allow it. But he is starting a new series, and it is called, what is it called? We Solve Murders. So I think that's coming out in September. I'll talk about it more in my anticipated releases video. The biggest disappointment of the year, sometimes these ones can be hard because the one I picked is fairly fresh. It was my first read, I was gonna say /DNF, but I actually didn't DNF it, I just skimmed it, of May, and that was Belladonna. The cover was gorgeous, the premise sounded interesting, but it crossed some lines for me and I did not enjoy it. Biggest surprise, I've raved about this one a lot already. The Light Between Worlds by Laura E. Weymouth. This is a like historical fiction / fantasy. It got Narnia vibes, but it's different. It's deep and dark in a very real way. Really loved it, and I've raved about it a lot. There was that one, and then I also have, I didn't grab Queen Victoria. It's 24 days in her life or something. I just talked about that one in May as well. I read that one and really enjoyed it. It's a nonfiction about Queen Victoria that is done in an interesting way. And then a few months ago I read What Happens Next by, I think it's Christina Suzanne Nelson. This one was a, what was it? It's kind of like a mystery-ish, suspense-ish story, and ever since I read it I've been wanting to read more from her, so hopefully I can do that soon. Favorite new, either debut or new to you author. So I have 4 of them that I want to share. So I loved The Chaos Grid, so I'll say Lindsay Llewellyn, and I believe this was her debut book. I loved Winterheart by H.D. Fox. So this is science fiction, this is fantasy. And I loved Blood of the Stars by Karen Norton, also fantasy. And then I also loved Saints and Monsters by Ellen McGinty, which is also fantasy. There's a bit of a theme, but because I'm diving into, you know, a lot more fantasy and finding some good science fiction, which I've enjoyed for a long time, but struggled to find good ones, I'm finding a lot more new to me authors, although a lot of them are new ones as well. Oh, number 8, I always skip. Newest fictional crush. Not applicable. I just can't relate to that. I don't crush on characters, but newest favorite character. Oh, I didn't grab the books for this one. I really enjoyed Tessa from Defy the Night. Okay, there was a loud crash. I had to go investigate. It's all good. Okay, which one were we on now? Newest favorite character, right. Tessa from Defy the Night. She was, I think, like an apothecary apprentice. I just really liked her personality. I really struggle when characters, like female characters especially, are either too aggressive or too wimpy. I find it can be a fine line, and I really liked her. And then also Anne from Clock Tower Bound. She really made me want to just like embrace being myself and enjoying every minute of every day, making life more beautiful. So those are my 2 newest favorite characters. 10 is a book that made you cry. I'm gonna say, it's actually hard because books do make me cry, but I actually can't remember any that have made me cry lately, and it doesn't mean that there hasn't been any. I just have a terrible memory. So possibly Orbiting Jupiter. I can't remember if I cried when I was reading that one. Possibly. Definite possibility. 11 is a book that made you happy, and I'm curious if I went back to my previous year's mid-year freakout tags, which I'll try to link them all below so you can hop back and see the different years. But I don't tend to read happy books. I'm assuming I've said that every year. But I was looking through, and I would say like the happiest book, even though it has darkness and depth to it, that I've read would be The Girl Who Kept the Castle. by Ryan Grodin. I just read this one last month. It's because it's very whimsical. That would maybe be my answer, although I am reading The Phantom Tollbooth with my kids right now, and that one's pretty fun. But I don't read a whole lot of like happy books. I don't know what that says about me. The most beautiful book you've received or bought so far this year? Oh, well, I do keep raving about the cover for Winterheart. I really enjoy this. And then a spoiler for my birthday book haul that will be coming up. Let me grab it. Charlene, who is a subscriber of mine and has just started a booktube channel. She always sends me gifts. She's so sweet. She sent me Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. I love it. I love the end pages in the book. And then this one has some of the illustrations, or I think it's just the one. I think it's just the one. But I read this via ebook because doing the Kickstarter from Canada, shipping was way too much to buy the books. So I got to read it and see the illustrations, but it's different to be able to own it and see some of them in print. 13 is what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And I'm gonna quickly grab these as well. I mean, I have a lot of books I want to read for sure, but I feel like these are three that they've been on my radar for a while, and for various reasons I haven't read them. No excuses really. And these are three that I would just really like to have checked off by the end of the year because I think I'll enjoy them. They're all in very different genres. So we've got City Spies by James Ponti. I enjoyed the first book in his Dead City series. My kids have really enjoyed this series and kind of keep nagging me to read it, and I haven't yet. So I feel like I should finally read this. And then when I was in my historical fiction phase, I feel like the most recommended book to me was Dear Mrs. Bird, and I got it then and I still haven't read it, so I should do that. And then this book, which apparently I've been saying the name wrong the entire time, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I like it to be Norrell. I want it to be. I started this book last fall, was really enjoying it, got 320 pages in. I'm going to finish it probably in the fall. Those are three that I'll feel better when those are done. Okay, and then I think that was number 13. I thought there was a question about goals on this tag, and there isn't, so I'm gonna add one in. So I did a full recap on my goals, not a recap, a like check-in over on my Patreon. I made a lot of bookish, booktube reading goals for the year. Some are going well, some need some help, but I want to add a couple goals in, even though I haven't even, completed any of them. There's a few things I want to add in, and I kind of wanted to share them with you. So one of them is I want to do more shorts. So I've done a couple in the last couple of weeks. One of the things I want to do in regards to shorts is I had shared some reels over on Instagram, and I'm like feeling over Instagram for the most part, so I want to share those here as shorts. But then I have other shorts I want to share, maybe some like short little reading vlogs or like reading check-ins or something as well. So more shorts. Keep an eye out for that. And then my second thing is just more community building here on BookTube. So I've been trying to do that in my community tab by asking people for their BookTube channels so they can share them and other people can follow, and asking for who's doing different readathons each month. Like, I've started this goal already. At the beginning of the year, I did a collaboration video with a bunch of booktubers. We did a video all about Christian fiction recommendations. And so I want to do more of those, more just different community building things. I don't have full specific ideas yet, but those are some of my ideas. So those are just two goals that I want to attach to the rest of my year as far as bookish stuff goes. I don't think I'm going to make any reading goals. I feel like my reading is going to pick up here, and I don't think I need to set any goals for that. So I would love to hear your guys' answers for the mid-year freakout tag. If you have a booktube channel, I would love for you to do the tag. If not, I will just leave the questions below and you can answer them in the comments. Just answer some of the questions, it doesn't matter. There's really no rules for this kind of stuff. So thanks for hanging out with me. I plan on being back with another video. Well, I actually don't know right now. Am I posting this one on Wednesday or Thursday? That's maybe another goal. If I'm doing 3 videos in a week, I think I might do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But if I'm gonna do 2, I think I'm gonna do Monday, Thursday. So if this is being posted on Wednesday, hopefully there'll be another video for you on Friday. Like I said, there's no rules.